Testing, testing, testing. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Hi, Titi. What is it, little Pudge? Okay. I think it's good to go. Yeah. Okay. Let me check stream health. Oh, you guys can't even see anything. Here. Let's rectify that by getting rid of video capture device, and we'll swap that out with screen display. There's so much to do. Display capture. Oh. Yep, there we go. That's it. Perfect. Okay. Halheed. This might be too late gaming, says Cameron. We talking politics tonight or nah? Nah. Let's just escape from that miserable world and check out some Invasion. So how's Invasion in Halo Infinite? This is going to be my first time playing it. I didn't even know that they were adding this, to be honest. I've been extremely busy with T-Dog Smitty. I wrote and edited the latest video on his channel. So I've been kind of under a rock. Outside of Helldivers, I haven't been really in the Halo community that much. So this came as a complete shock to me. I'm very keen, though, to see how they translated Invasion into Halo Infinite. I can only assume that there's no playable elites, no Covenant, none of that, because that's a little bit outside of the scope of Forge. Did they do like the Banished faces though that they did for Banished Slayer, where like one team has like brute armor, like holographic armor and stuff, or is it purely Spartans versus Spartans? What the hell? Sonic's coming to Fortnite? What did I miss? What's been going on? Sonic the Hedgehog with a gun? Like, Shadow can have a gun, but I don't know if Sonic should be having a gun. Okay. Checking out. So they added Invasion to Halo Infinite? Why didn't anyone tell me? Checking it out now on stream. Come join. Yeah, that seems attention grabby enough, methinks. Now all I have to do is add a screenshot. I probably could have prepared this all in advance, but it's okay, right? Late night gaming at this hour? How convenient. I know, right? It's always late night somewhere. This is my first time taking a look at what's in the Battle Pass, what's in the shop, what playable modes are here and stuff. So I'm actually a little bit excited to hop in and take a look at all this stuff. Any chance of Helldivers later? Asks Helljumper. Possibly? I don't have the Xbox here, actually. But we could possibly do that. Have you seen the Destiny Renegades DLC? It's Star Wars themed. I popped into the live stream for a brief moment, and outside of the stuff like Vex wearing clothes and like doing gambling and stuff, which is like dumb. Like, I don't think the Destiny Vex should have personalities and feelings and wear clothes, because I think at that point it's like what's the point of having Vex then if they're just going to be like everyone else? Outside of that, it looked okay. In fact, it kind of looked more like Destiny than Destiny's been in a very long time, which was kind of funny. But I don't know. It just... I'm so burnt out on Destiny, you know? Have you ever played Serious Sam? I think I own Serious Sam, but I'm not very serious about Serious Sam. There's one that I played on the Xbox 360. All I remember about Serious Sam is that there's like an enemy that has like no head and it's holding 2 bombs and it screams constantly as it approaches you. I like that enemy. Like, that's iconic. You know, that's stuck in my brain. But that's unfortunately all I know about Serious Sam. I assume that enemy isn't Sam, right? Uh-oh. I'm looking at the frame rate tanking. Let me try closing Chrome. Let me try closing actually a couple of things. Hey, I'm early, says Raffles Waffles. Yeah, Destiny. It's gonna be interesting to see, like, if they can kind of recover, because Destiny's in a bit of a slump right now, isn't it? Isn't it? Like, it's not doing too hot. Would you prefer a Halo with more realistic graphics like 2019 Modern Warfare, or do you prefer the more cartoony graphics like Halo Infinite? Well, Halo Infinite, I think part of the reason it looks cartoony is honestly because of, like, poor lighting. Like, I think the Halo Infinite cartoony graphics, like, you're talking about things like the explosion being like cartoon puffballs, right? Yeah, I'm looking at the stream and I see the frame rate tanks periodically, but then it stabilizes like right now. So I'm trying to see if there's anything that I can do to kind of fix that. Like, if there's any graphics settings I can toggle. This is why I don't usually like using my PC to stream games. I mean, like, I like using my PC to stream games, but my poor PC is clearly not equipped. It's not up to the task like it used to be, because games have gotten a lot more demanding. I'm just here. So, is it good? Well, I am about to check out the... everything, I guess. Here, let's go with the man, I really wish some of these models weren't part of the monetization. I wish you could just earn them, because some of them look really cool, but you know, that's how they get you. Here, let's check out the shop. Okay. None of these speak to me, I'll be honest. That kind of gives me Skyrim vibes. I doubt it is Skyrim vibes. Like, none of these speak to me, but also, that's cool. That is a cool shoulder piece. I would not buy a bundle for it, though, you know? Not the biggest fan also of that coding. That's badass looking. But here, okay, that is super cool looking, that thing right there. But it's so cool looking that it makes me angry that that's not just like a new gun, you know? It's like, why are the... Well, I mean, I know why. Like, the resources are being wasted on cosmetic stuff instead of stuff that could, make the... That looks great. That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Look at that wood finish. That's cool. That's a MCC armor, isn't that? That they brought over. Not really my thing, but I'm sure it's somebody's. Probably the boys out there that think about the Roman Empire every week. That's based off of Halo 4 concept art, isn't that? Yeah, I think that's based off Halo 4 concept art. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's cool. Scanner. Okay. That's a Halo 4 armor, isn't that? A little bit on the expensive side. I said $15, I think, is like my cutoff. That or $14. That's bonkers. That is bonkers. You could buy an indie game for that price. That's why they're holding this bandit model hostage. Oh my god. And the EVA helmet's in. Okay, this is a cruel bundle. No way it should be costing that much. I do have this. And I quite like this, actually. It's kind of like a commando in the style of, like, Halo 3. That's probably actually my favorite commando model. That and the one that kind of makes it look like the Halo Reach cut light machine gun. Okay, so all of this is basically just... It's like a fantasy-themed event that's going on. That's cool. I mean, if people like that stuff. I'm a little bit boring with my tastes in Halo. Like, ODSTs, I'm usually a sucker for. Like, you can usually get me with an ODST-related thing. But for the most part, I'm like... I kind of like my Spartans looking either like Master Chief or like a Combat Evolved thing or an ODST. Scanner can be earned for free? What the hell? So it's purchasable and it can be earned for free? It's in the exchange. Wow, that's cool. What the fuck? That's cool. I like that. Wow. Oh my god, it's the full armor set. Guys, that's really cool. That's great. How's the Halo community reacting to this? Like, that's great. That's really unusually pro-consumer of them. That's cool. I mean, the armor coating is kind of buns, but that's just because that's, like, not my thing. That chest doesn't look too bad. I guess if you're a fan of, like, Halo 4 and Halo 5, like, you'd probably like that chest as well. Gives you a bit of that, like, Reclaimer Saga chest piece. Let's check this out. A little bit too pumpkin soup for my tastes. Let's check this out. I mean, it's free, you know. I'll probably circle around and get it eventually. Ooh. Ooh. They added a new, Look, guys. That's completely free. Grab it. There's some cool stuff in here. There's some, like, legit cool stuff in here that they've added. Dude, I really hope that the exchange comes back. Yeah, I'll grab this too. Black Falcon. This is okay. I don't really like my Spartans looking too shiny. Not that, like, shiny is bad. There's just... Oh, man. There's a specific texture in Halo Infinite that I really like when it's on the Spartans, but unfortunately there is not a coating that is of a color I like. Excuse me. I guess try to find a coating that fits this a little bit, you know. Yeah, this is like a shinobi type thing, right? That's what they're going for here. Doesn't look like any of these are fitting. I assume there is a specific one that this was maybe designed for, right? I mean, maybe that. Looks a little bit garish, but we'll try it. Okay. I guess it's now time to check out what the battle pass is like. Operation Warpath, huh? I have more than enough commandos. I have far too many commandos. Yes. I mean, if you are in the boat of there's never too many commando kits, then maybe. That's cool. That's pretty, right? But let's check out some of this other stuff. Okay, everything in here is free, which is cool. Okay, it's just like night stuff. I think I can live without purchasing this one, to be honest. For now, though, let's swap out this armor for something that's... Or this coating. I tried to make that coating work, but it didn't. It didn't look good. I thought it would look good, but it just didn't. It's a little bit too gaudy. Wow, there it is. It's real. Invasion. Horned helmet reminds me of Doom's Baron of Hell. Maybe it's a reference. Could it be? Because they had Dragonborn, which is a direct reference to Skyrim. Hello, what is Invasion? Invasion is a game type from Halo Reach that only appeared in Halo Reach, and it developed a cult following. Fans have been wanting it back for a while, and this is the first Halo game since Reach that has brought back Invasion. Yes, That's cool. What happened? Oof. Okay, that's Banished Scout, Needler, Mangler. Oops, I didn't have enough time to look. Okay, let's cloak. So it's loadout themed, Invasion. Like, you're kind of given a choice of a couple of like loadout presets that kind of like they're supposed to kind of encourage you to play a specific combat fantasy, you know? So, like, see, I'm selecting this one. And it's got a Mangler, and it's got a Thruster Pack. So this one is a little bit more aggressively charged, you could say. I saw a Cloakman. That's the term, right? Icebird. You think my OBS is a little bit zoomed in? Like that? Oh, crap, I'm looking at the screen. Yeah, that's not what it's supposed to look like. Hang on. Oh, that's bad. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you guys are looking at a super, super zoomed in version. How do I fix this? No, that's the border. Display capture? Why is it just zoomed in? Oh, there we go. Woof. Here, let's get that guy nice, fat, and big. And then you guys will be able to see, like my dog. All right. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Hey, LNG, I've been watching you since the Halo 5 days back in 2016. How time flies by. I appreciate you sticking with me all these years. Anyway, I thought I would show you some appreciation for all the years of entertainment. Also, I really enjoy your Warthog Radio podcast. Dude, I really appreciate the $25. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that Warthog Radio is providing entertainment for you. The last episode was, I think that might be one of our bests. That was, I don't want to use the word unhinged, but there definitely was an energy to it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Cheers, man. Ugh. Very disappointed in Halo Infinite's firefight, by the way. I don't know if I'm alone in that one, but it wasn't good at all in my opinion. Depends on the mode. I think Halo Infinite's firefight is generally great across the board. I think the only one maybe that could use some work is like the linear firefight. I think some of the maps kind of miss the mark quality-wise. Invasion without elites is like Halo without the Magnum. Wait. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the lack of playable elite sucks, but it's genuinely a testament to how far Forge has come. Yeah. For real. Oh, dude. I'm totally going with this one. It spawns me with the Avenger SMG. Yeah, Iceberg, you rock, dude. I love Firefight. I just wish I could load in solo easier. What I really wish is that I could just keep going. Because nothing sucks more in Firefight than you doing, like, one set. And then the enemy, or like your buddies are like, yeah, that's enough. And then they end the game for you. And you're like, please, no, let's keep going. This is a lot of fun. Especially when you spawn into a game that happens to have the bandana skull. This is awesome. This is so cool. Like, this is a remake of the map from Halo Reach. Uh-oh. That's not good. Here, let's maybe bump up the field of view just a smidgy. Man, I'll tell you what. I'm starting to get the feeling that I'm going to need an editor so that I can get videos out quicker. Because working for T-Dog, like, some of the videos that we're doing are, like, super ambitious and take a lot of time and resources. Like, they're bangers, definitely. And we're really proud of them, but they take a lot out of me. Damn it. Okay. I don't think I'll ever reach your rank at this point. Oh, dude, it's so easy. It's just very exhausting. All you gotta do is Gruntpocalypse. Legendary Gruntpocalypse. Let me see if I can... let's see if there's, like, input delay if I use a controller. Turning on the PS4 controller. It feels okay. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this feels good. Why haven't 343 added new match beginning animations, Lamau? You'd think they would have added in a bunch of new ones over the years. That was the original plan. In fact, there are people found in the game files some unfinished ones, so it was definitely part of the plan. Chances are the reason that they never added them was due to probably some kind of engine issue. Because that would be, like, easy money, right? Adding and monetizing, like, match intro and outro stuff. But the fact that they didn't means that it was probably a lot harder than it seems. Okay. Ooh, sniper, I'll take this. Thank you. Here, and then a portal. This is crazy. This is awesome. This feels a hell of a lot like Halo Reach's Invasion. And not just because of the maps. Like, when did they add the menu? Because before, I think most of us would have written off any kind of... Not that, like, Halo Infinite's Forge isn't impressive, because it definitely is. It's more like... if you've seen some of the community-made, like, Warzone maps and stuff like that, what they essentially had to do, because there was no menu system, you would spawn in kind of like a room outside of the map, and you'd have to look at a physical wall of every gun and spot the gun, and then that would give you the gun. And then it would plop you into the map. It was super janky, like, really, really not good. It was not optimal. But then they added this, like, menu system, and now everything's... Like, that felt good. That felt really good, being able to just, like, select my loadout and then choose my spawn position. It gets rid of that 4G feeling that Forge has, you know? It brings Forge one step closer to, like, world domination. Damn it. Okay. That's alright. Yeah. I think I'll stick with this Bulldog. I'll always prefer the Halo 5 beta win screen. Yeah, the Halo 5 beta win screen was fun. I liked that. Like, the community kind of, like, got into a hissy fit. Because they were like, Spartans shouldn't be, like, celebrating and stuff. And I don't know. It was fun. Like, the Spartans would be, like, high-fiving and stuff. In fact, actually, I think I'm going to go with this guy. Yeah, because that Bulldog, I'm realizing it's not... It's not... Every time I try to give the Bulldog a chance... No, nobody's up here? Okay. Round lost. I'm, like, sweating up my glasses. Here, let me take those guys off. Ugh. This rocks, man. God, Halo Reach's Invasion was a lot of fun. It was not flawless by any means, and I think MCC kind of exposed a lot of problems with it, and it was definitely, in my opinion, a big mistake, big mistake to put it in ranked, because all you're doing is encouraging the community to optimize the hell out of the mode, which they did, and they cracked it wide open and made it like super unfun and sweaty. But Reach's Invasion is like, it was the tip of the spear for something interesting, and it's kind of a pity that it just never was iterated on. I feel like if you were to take Reach's Invasion and merge it with Warzone, like the AI elements of Warzone, like do an Invasion 2.0 that had AI combatants and stuff, you could make something really special. I love the Bulldog, but it needs to be a little bit more consistent. I feel like the Bulldog is consistent enough. It's just my instincts of when to hold the trigger and fire versus pump a shot in and then melee are not good. I'm either meleeing too soon, or I am just relying completely on the weapon, like just firing, and usually I get myself killed more often than not. So I've learned to just stay away from the Bulldog, because I'm not nearly as good with it as other people are. Heatwave, though, I am pretty decent with. Not great at, but a little bit better than the Bulldog. I think a problem that some people make with the Heatwave is they assume that the vertical shot, you know, making all the shots vertically lined up, that's better. It's not. It's not. Don't do that. It does more damage if it's horizontal. That goes for not just players, but also, like, firefight and stuff. I see a lot of people throw away the Heatwave because they fire it horizontally, or vertically, and they're like, this thing does no damage. I'm out. And it's like, you're using it wrong. I'll tell you what, though. The Hydra's nuts now. Since the buff. Let's get out of here. Come on. I saw you. Okay. I was gonna say, we might have actually had to have pushed in there to get that kill. Let me scroll up. Andrew Brown says, have you played the Guardians of the Galaxy game in 2021? It is a really underrated game. I played a little bit of it when it was on Game Pass, and I remember thinking that it was pretty decent what I played. I think just the fact it was Game Pass is why I didn't get too into it, because there was, like, no monetary commitment, you know? But from what I've heard, it's probably the best Marvel game right now on consoles that you can get. Outside of, like, obviously the PS4 Spider-Man game. And Spider-Man 2, for that matter. And Spider-Man Miles Morales. Look at this goofy guy. That's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Fun fact, Nintendo just filed a patent in the US for summoning a creature and having it fight for you. Wonder how successful that endeavor will be. That's insanely vague and broad, though. Right? Are they going to get the patent? Like, have they successfully secured it? That's just, like, insanely broad. Like, summoning a little dude. And not just a little dude, like a creature. The Guardians of the Galaxy game is good, but the in-universe swear words are insanely cringe. Oh no, does it have like fake alien swear words? Those never work. Like Battlestar Galactica has, what is it? Frack is like the futuristic F word. And it's like, that's so dumb and bad. I like this map a little bit. Hey, Mr. Nowhere. Dude, Mr. Nowhere's here. Holy crap. Dude, thank you so much for the $50, man. Dude, I'm so tired today. Had the weirdest case of insomnia yesterday. Blech. I'm using the stream for sleep aid, lol. Not to say you're boring, of course, but you know what I mean. I absolutely know what you mean. It's okay. No offense taken. Okay? I accept it as the compliment that it is. I'm glad that I can be a soothing voice to nod off to. Dude, it's good to see you, man. Thank you as always for the $50. It is appreciated. Hope work is going well for you, man. Hope you can get some sleep tonight. And hope you can stay asleep too. Because that's a problem too sometimes. Oof. Boom block. What's with the radial menu? The radial menu lets you basically just choose what... Holy mother of God! How big is this map? Look at that. Hang on. Hang on, we're going to get... There we go. We're going to get a little bit cinematic for this map, okay? We're going to turn up some of these visual effects. Screen calibration, we're going to turn down the brightness just a smidge. You know, add a bit more contrast. And then probably also turn back on volumetric fog. Just to low, though. That's cool. I like that a lot. I like multiplayer maps in first-person shooters where you're fighting in the shadow of a giant thing. Or there is a giant thing that's usually orienting you in a specific direction. That's cool. I like that a lot. Is it good? So far, it's very good, actually. It helps that they've had enough time, you know, like... since the last iteration of Invasion, that you can kind of learn from the mistakes that Reach's Invasion made. And it also helps, I think that Halo Infinite has a little bit more to play with. Because Halo Reach's Invasion, like all the armor abilities, are very self-serving. Like, there aren't a lot of ways to be supportive as a player, like in Halo Infinite, where you have stuff like the drop wall, the scanner. This map's cool. I like this. It gives Battlefield, which is super weird. Like, it gives Battlefield 3. And I can't put my finger on why. Are you excited for Borderlands 4? I'm a Borderlands fan who's played every game. Even I'm as worried as I am excited. I am interested in Borderlands 4, because they're making a couple changes actually that kind of pique my interest, like as an ex-Destiny fan. I will say though, I'm probably not going to purchase it myself. Borderlands 3 was gifted to me though, and I did enjoy playing that with the friend who bought it for me. So I don't know, maybe if someone gives me Borderlands 4, I'll definitely play through it with them. I don't know, it seems cool. Like, they're, some of the humor is being toned down, which is nice. They're also going to be going for more of, like, that Destiny route, aren't they? Like, you can summon your vehicles kind of anywhere now, right? And it seems more like they're into, like, build crafting and kind of like those pseudo MMO-y elements that Destiny has. They added the carbine? Yeah, they added the carbine. You wait for me. Okay. All right. Come on. Come on, give me a clean shot. Where is he? Oh, boy. There we go. There we go. There we go. He's almost dead. He's almost dead. Come on, give me a clean shot. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hang on. We gotta go. Too late. You know, we'll get this because it's got a BR. My pet peeve is gaming is bad. My pet peeve in gaming is bad tacked on stealth gameplay, says Andrew Brown. Do you have any recent examples of it? I think the latest game that I played with really bad tacked on stealth gameplay was Modern Warfare 2. The new Modern Warfare 2, that is. No, it was... Well, I guess any of those Warzone era CODs. Like, the stealth in them feels very Far Cry-like. Oops. I was going to say Starfield, but I'm like, nah, like the jankiness of like those Bethesda stealth systems are kind of like, to be honest, I'd hate if Bethesda ever upgraded, you know, their stealth systems. Trying to get my bearings. Trying to figure out what the flow of this map is. Oh, another Hydra. Okay. We'll get some ammo for that. I see you. Is he going to try turning around and coming for me? Nope. Oh, boy. Oh, I can just totally pop one of these babies. Damn it. I popped an overshield and he still got me. Insomniac Spider-Man. Yeah, Insomniac Spider-Man has pretty bad, like shockingly bad stealth sequences. Like all of those MJ and Miles Morales stealth missions are atrocious. They're so bad. And I get it. I get the reason that they're there, and it makes total sense. The idea is you want to break up the pacing of the game. Because if it's just the same combat loop over and over again, people get kind of bored. It's kind of like, you know, when everyone was clowning the new God of War for having the... you know, like here is a little crack in the wall, and then you get in the crack, and then you start shimmying your way very slowly, and then you come out the other side. And people were saying it was to hide a loading screen, and it's like the truth is they don't have to do that. Like these systems have enough memory that they can seamlessly deload and load in segments of the levels. They don't have to do that. It has nothing to do with with invisible loading screens. The reason that they do that is for pacing reasons. Because if it's just gameplay, like, people get, like... They've found that, like, people get tired. They think that the game's repetitive. So it's like you throw in weird stuff like that to break up the pace of the levels or break up the pace of the gameplay itself. You know, like, if you're opening a door to get into every single area... And this isn't me advocating for it or defending it either, because I think that's a little bit flimsy. What I'm saying is that's their justification for it. So I've been a little bit less harsh on it. I used to be a little bit more harsh, but I get that it's kind of like just this thing that Western game developers are taught is good. I just let everyone else speak for me. Because, yeah, it's a little bit forced. Damn, this is impressive for them to do everything in Forge on this level. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Look at this. Look how big this is. And it's like, where are we right now? Where are we? To quote Master Chief. Okay, we got to go get that bomb. The bum heat, as my wife would probably say. Oh, do not tell me. This is going to be so cool. That's fucking awesome. That's so badass. That's the map down there. When I saw this, I was like, that looks a hell of a lot like the same materials that make up the radar dish. Oh my god. That's so cool. We spawn all the way up there. I like that a lot. Dude, this is cool. This is really cool. That's really badass. Yeah, I just think Halo Infinite's various equipment, they kind of add more interesting gameplay than Halo Reach's armor abilities, since the equipment has a healthy mix of really, like, selfish things, kind of like the grappling hook, where it only really serves you. But then it's also got stuff that's more neutral, kind of like the drop wall. So there's a variety of ways that you can have some players be a little bit more self-serving so that they can be the aggressive, like, tip of the spear, so to speak. And then you could have the ones that are more supportive. Yeah, this is cool. Dude, they cooked. They cooked with Invasion. Like, really, really, really good props. Okay. Yeah, let's get in there. Is he gonna come down? Pulse Carbine. Oops. Okay. I didn't have enough time to select my doodad. This is cool. I like this a lot. I like a map that's situated under the shadow of a giant thing. I don't know what else to say. It's just like a fun fantasy. This is a great map. Crazy how Forge makers are making brand new full-scale maps and COD devs resort to multiple remasters. Hey. I don't want to give COD developers too much flack because in their defense, Halo Infinite launched with like 7 maps total, okay? Call of Duty usually dwarfs Halo, at least modern 343 Halo in terms of content at launch. But yes. A lot of the post-launch stuff for Halo Infinite has been great. Hi, how are you? My opinion on Invasion in Halo Infinite is that they should have added AI, UNSC, and Banished to the mode to make it something more than just BTB, but objectives. Yeah, I can see that. I was saying earlier that combining Invasion with Halo 5's War Zone, like the asymmetrical objective attack on a large scale with AI, there's something special there. There is something special there that needs to be tapped into for sure. Because could you imagine, like, having a map that is Covenant or Banished attackers, and your spawn is, like, via Phantoms or via dropships and stuff like that, and you're the UNSC, and as UNSC, you have access to, like, marine defenses and stuff like that. Like, you have your chain gun turrets, your auto turrets. You can call in ODST drop pods to spawn in ODST AI. Like, all that sort of stuff. You know, like, taking a little bomb, throwing it. Almost like a stratagem from Helldivers. That would be super badass. Or vice versa, having a Covenant Corvette that's being boarded by UNSC forces, and you got, like, little grunts, little jackals running around, firing. Like, all the players are elites, and the AI are the lower-ranking Covenant. That would be awesome. You've hit 200,000. I have hit 200,000. Oh, no, we're playing this map. When I was speaking about players optimizing the fun out of Halo Reach Invasion on MCC, this is the map I was thinking of in my brain. So let's see if it plays a little bit better in Halo Infinite. Where are the playable elites? The playable elites are... Okay, I think I fixed my controller. The playable elites are probably in the same drawer that they're keeping the slip space engine. What's left of its code. Thank you, baby. I love you. She gave me a water. This map is way more fun in Infinite, in my opinion. I'd imagine it would be more fun in Infinite. You'd have more ways for the aggressors, because this, if you're on the UNSC side on this map, it's miserable, man. It's miserable. And like there definitely is a there is a way to play up like the D-Day, like you're pushing into the objective and the defenses are borderline impenetrable. There's a way to make that fun, but I don't think Halo Reach did a very good job. Like, being on the attacking side on a map that's very defender biased, it's just, like, not a fun experience. And I think it's due to the armor abilities. There were not nearly enough supportive armor abilities in Reach. They were all very, very selfish. But Halo Infinite, thankfully, has a lot of items like drop walls. Drop walls, healing things, you know. The like. I'm going to pop this open. We are drinking today Kirkland sparkling water. Lemon flavored. There we go. Oh, that's good. That's really good stuff. The equipment sandbox here makes the nightmare stalemates reach head way less common. Yeah, way less common. Yeah, like Invasion is such a damn good mode, but it was in its infancy. More needed to be done, as I think Reach or the MCC kind of exposed. Because the MCC, what it did that I think was the big sin, it put it in ranked, which immediately makes it a lot more sweaty, which forces players to begin optimizing the hell out of the mode to stay competitive. And it basically, like, they basically ran Invasion through an algorithm, and the players found every single possible way that you could make Invasion not fun. And it kind of, like, just ruined Invasion, at least in Reach. Like, the Forge maps for Invasion, I think, are more fun than the dev-made ones. But, there definitely was a lot of room to keep at it. You know, Invasion, there's something special there. And I think Infinite is right now showing that there's a lot of meat on this game mode's bones. Don't hate me, I've been playing more Silksong than Halo Infinite lately. That's okay. I heard Silksong's great. I've been playing a hell of a lot of Helldivers. I'm also going to be getting, after the stream, House Slipper 2, so I can play it with my wife. She highly recommends. It still feels weird that the Covey and Banished weapons have skins now. It's weird. But I think also part of the reason it's weird is because it's new, you know? But it is what it is. The kids want their vanity items, and by golly, they will have their vanity items. Not much we can do about it. Interestingly, the latest Battlefield 6 Labs playtest, it had a cosmetics toggle, like the MCC. You could turn off wacky skins. I wonder if Battlefield 6 is going to be the first game that just, like, takes the plunge, you know? And is like, fuck it. Yeah, you can turn off the clown skins if you want. Which I think is cool. I've been beating the art style drum since, God, 2016? And I feel, there is definitely a bit of resentment because I remember getting so much hate about it when people were like, it's just cosmetic, it doesn't affect gameplay. And now people suddenly care about it, and I'm like, I was the first, and you crucified me. But I'm just happy that we're all on the same page now, and we're like, yeah, a game's art style should be respected, even if it means being able to turn off stupid skins that other people are wearing. To be fair, skins were a thing in Halo 4 for Covenant weapons. Ah, you're right, and not just Covenant weapons, but also the Promethean weapons. Yeah, you know what? You're totally right. It was Halo 5 that took away Covenant customization. Halo 5 had some great weapon skins, though. Like, some of them are really good. In or in Halo Infinite, they're more or less like parts of the gun are a full flat color. But in Halo 5, they were like full-on patterns. Like complex patterns, you know, not just like a vague across-the-board like camo. There's this red one for the assault rifle that I really liked. At what point is Forge dispensed for full mod tools? There must be an upper limit to how comprehensive the former gets before becoming the latter. Yeah, especially if they're going to be going the route of Unreal Engine. Because at that point, like, the Unreal Editor and stuff like that, there's got to be so much that you can do in there where it's, like, just kind of open the door a little bit. Like, and imagine for modding, the reason that you wouldn't want to have just, like, full-on mod tools for, like, a console game, or, like, the reason Microsoft would be skittish about giving that to the player base, not that I condone it, is they'd be worried about copyrighted material being modded into Halo, and it being kind of formally endorsed by Microsoft via, you know, such easy access, which Forge kind of, you know, if you make Kirby and Forge, you can argue that it's like, well, it's not technically Kirby, you know? Like, they didn't pull the Kirby asset from some other thing. Like, all they did was slap a bunch of shit together, and it's in the shape of Kirby. But I totally get you. Like, mod tools were apparently a big, that was a very long and tedious battle for 343, when it comes to the MCC, and they won ultimately. You know, mod tools were added, but it was very difficult. It was a very difficult fight for them to get Microsoft to be like, okay, to mod tools. Big wisdom from Big Toe. Fluff high see, says my wife. Actually, what happened to the Prometheans now that you bring it up? When I spoke to a ex-campaign lead, I should clarify about that. He said that what happened with the Promethean faction is they, during like early pre-production, like probably 2016 to 2017, they wanted to do like a kind of across-the-board overhaul to them, redesign them, get them a little bit more Forerunner looking, because they thought, as well as, you know, like spruce up some of the combat with them, because they thought Halo 5 got them into a better place. Like, Halo 4 laid down the groundwork. Halo 5 kind of smoothed out some of the combat. There were a couple areas where there was a regression, like the crawlers not being able to crawl on walls anymore. He wanted to get them back on the walls, but the knights were in a pretty good place. They kind of acted like hunters, you know? And that was a lot of fun. But the work that would have been required and the different... when people say resources, what they mean are the different teams, artists, animators, sandbox, sound design, QA, even localization. Like, you'd need the studio's entire support behind it, and they were also building the Banished. And so the resources that would have been required, everybody was already hard at work on their various tasks related to the Banished, you know? There was basically no one available, because everyone was doing stuff. They were very, very busy. And so there weren't the resources, there weren't the manpower. There wasn't the manpower to be able to expand the Forerunner faction. As well as there was this kind of like, what made the Prometheans is their ties to the Forerunners, you know? And the problem with Halo 5 is it took away that. Because now the Forerunner robots are Cortana, who was made by humans. So it's like the Forerunner robots make more sense when they are of the Forerunners, you know? But now it's like, well, the Forerunner robots actually serve a human AI. And there's also going to be, like, you know, these banished, like, the Covenant aliens that are also helping her. And it's like the factions start to kind of, like, lose some of their identity. They kind of get mixed together and, you know, love them or hate them, the Prometheans, they kind of lost what made them unique in Halo 5 by aligning themselves with Cortana. So they were like, you know what, fuck it. Bin them, you know? Were the Banished a part of the original development plan? They were not. It was a vague, broad, generic, brute Covenant splinter faction hybrid thing. I remember, what's crazy is I actually remember hearing about it ages ago. This was like, I had like this crazy meltdown after 2016, where I was like, yeah, there was like a last-minute rewrite, and blah, 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 and it was just a bunch of nonsense that unfortunately is still parroted to this day. But one thing that I did hear that apparently turned out to be correct is that there was, for the next Halo game, it wasn't going to be Covenant. It was going to be a faction of aliens led by the Brutes. And they were designing brute warships, brute weapons, like, you know, brute structures, like basically a new art style for this new enemy that were not the Covenant. They were brutes. And then after Halo Wars 2, because Halo Wars 2, the Banished were not supposed to be like the main threat of Halo going forward, but people were so happy with the Banished that they were like, okay, let's do it. Let's stick them in the next Halo game. But then the reason that Atriox was not the main villain is kind of like, it's like an annoying thing. It's like an ego thing. Or not really an ego thing, I guess, but maybe not the storytelling thing that I would have gone in. The way it was explained to me was Paul Crocker, one of the narrative designers. He was brought into 343 because of his experience writing for the Batman Arkham games, which take a legacy character like Batman, who has a lot of history and a lot of baggage, which is, you know, a problem Halo was facing, given how old it was, and they were able to successfully tell a story with a character who had so much history to an audience that didn't know a lot about Batman. And so they were like, fuck, we need that guy working on Halo. And Paul Crocker, because, you know, he wanted to tell, like, a story that he thought wouldn't require a lot of reading and stuff, he was like, I don't want this Atriox guy as the villain. I want somebody new. And through him, we introduce Atriox. Which is why they have the fake-out Atriox death at the beginning, and then you learn about how much Atriox means to the Banished through the man who taught Atriox all he knows. And then you kill him, and then you set up that Atriox is coming back at the end. Lead into the sequel. Was it a good idea? You know, that I guess is up to you guys, but that was at least the intent. I assume that free-range modding would be restricted to custom servers with dedicated servers hosting copyright-compliant, Microsoft-approved content only. Probably stuff like that. Yeah, because Microsoft, they're very flighty about modded content still. And I'd imagine they're even worse now because of the leaks. Do you remember the leaks, the MCC leaks that happened? Like all that Bungie content? I'd imagine things are going to be even worse now with Microsoft. Which blows. I hate the assholes that leaked all that content. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really, really cool to be able to see all that Bungie shit. like the Forerunner city level, but the damage that has been done because of that. Microsoft will never be that close to the community again. Like the dig site crew will probably never they'll never let that happen again. And it's because of the jackasses that leaked all that content. So it's like, good job, you know? We had something good going on. And it could have gone even further. And you all blew it up. The thing is, the Arkham series had Paul Dini. Dini? Did it? I don't know who that is. I do know who Paul Crocker is, though. Escharum is kind of boring, in my opinion. I like Escharum. What I like about Escharum is that he's fun. There's definitely, like, Halo Infinite, I think, has a lot of pacing issues because of its development, as well as the open world formula. But as an editor, Escharum is a very good character with good meat on his bones. And I bet you that I could give you a supercut of the Halo Infinite story and you'd be like, oh yeah, Escharum rocks. Because just the fact that you spend so much time in the world of Halo Infinite is kind of like the issue. You know, Escharum is constantly talking because, you know, when you think of like older Halo games, this is something I don't necessarily agree with people on. They're like, look at the older Halo games. They were so much, so much better. Like, the cutscenes had more impact, and that is true. But also, the context is so different now, because Halo 2 is like 4 hours long, and Halo Infinite is like 16 hours long. So, the few moments, if there's any, in Halo 2 where a line delivery isn't very good, or there's like a stupid line, that's going to be, there are more risks of that in Halo Infinite because of how much longer it is as a game. And I think if you were to edit Halo Infinite's story down into 4 hours, you'd find that Escharum is a very good villain, and has a lot of charisma behind him. Just the problem with Infinite is the game's so damn long, and you spend so much time, and there's too much talking, you know? Paul Dini is a legendary Batman writer who is the head writer on Batman the Animated Series. Okay. That would explain it. That would explain a lot. Yeah, and I guess after, like, the whole Halo Infinite drama, I looked into Paul Crocker and his writing pedigree. Like, he definitely credit to Paul Crocker, but, not stolen valor. That's not the word I want to use, but look at us. Why are we're banished face. Some of us are Do we? Are we on the banished side? Do we have glowy faces? Or is it only certain ones? Was somebody in 343's offices directly with the leak? No. Basically what happened was, so 343 Industries, and this is kind of like unprecedented, and took unprecedented for Microsoft. It's a level of trust that is unusual for Microsoft, which means a lot of, there were some battles that were won over this. 343 was able to convince Microsoft to allow them to have a group of modders that had access to confidential private Halo material, such as early builds of Halo 3, development tools, like all of that kind of stuff, and help them bring modded content to the MCC, make new content, like basically dig through all of this archive stuff to see if any of it is salvageable. And something happened. You know, funding probably dried up. You know, the big wigs were like, no more MCC content. This stuff's done. And there were also like a lot of dig site people that were probably hoping that they'd get a job out of it, which, you know, Microsoft Xbox Game Studios culture can be pretty weird. Like a lot of fake smiles and, you know, not a lot of compensation for your work, I guess. But, you know, a lot of the dig site crew said that they were burnt out. They didn't really want to work on that stuff anymore because they weren't being paid, and it was kind of taking time out of their personal jobs. But then some asshole just straight up dumped 90 gigabytes of all of the confidential material that they had access to, and they had signed NDAs that they would not talk about. This is like cut content from Halo 2, Halo 3, Combat Evolved, and stuff, confidential builds of Halo that were not supposed to be seen by the public. Just a lot of stuff that they promised not to share with anybody, and then somebody broke that promise. And so Microsoft, who were skeptical, you know, like 343 had to convince them that this would be okay and this would be in the community's best interest to form this group of community members. And ultimately, this leak proved Microsoft correct. You know, they were wrong to trust the community because this leak happened, unfortunately. And now we will probably never see that level of, like, community trust again. Or at least it will take an extremely long time to rebuild the trust. And it's very annoying. It's very frustrating. And what's worse is they shared that leak with an annoying, like, asshole Deus Ex reference. A reference to the first Deus Ex games cutscenes where they were like, let the leaks overflow into the streets and blah, 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 you know? Like, whoever it was. It was just, it was a very bad day. And I think even Sketch or something said on Reset Era about it. Because it happened over the holidays, and he said something along the lines of they had a lot of work to do behind the scenes. They were all scrambling, and the community, like, basically enjoy the Christmas presents because there will be consequences with them. And the consequences are probably that Microsoft is never going to be that close to the community again regarding confidential Halo content. Microsoft is like that one dad that strictly allows you to do the one special treatment and then never again because they're overprotective. No, it's not necessarily that. It's... They definitely are very overprotective, but this is one instance where 343 was like, please let us do this thing. We promise nothing bad will happen to it, and it could potentially open the doors for further collaborations. Just trust us. And Microsoft was like, okay, prove us right that we're being overprotective, like, or prove us wrong, you know, like, we'll... And Microsoft was right. That's ultimately what this proved, you know. No matter what is said, Microsoft being overprotective or not, they were proven right to be overprotective. And it's fucking annoying. It makes me angry thinking about it. That their overprotectiveness, they were proven right to be overprotective. Because I bet you if we had kept up this kind of like community collaboration with them, they probably would have loosened things up even further. And now we've been reset all the way back to zero. In fact, worse than zero, because now they have a historic moment to point to as to why they don't ever want to be this close to the community again, in terms of confidential material. At least we got to play the actual Halo 2 E3 2003 demo. Well, we didn't get to play the actual one. We played a reconstructed version that was ported into the Halo MCC version of the Halo 2 engine. It's not the same exact one. There's going to be a lot of features missing, a lot of lighting effects, visual effects that are missing, you know. It is ultimately a level mod. But I get what you mean. It's been reset to -40. Yeah. I don't think Microsoft has allowed Gears of War mods to be released. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's... I mean, granted, I don't think it's up to Microsoft now, because the one thing that I think was keeping folks from modding Gears of War, the Ultimate Edition, was the fact that it was locked to the Windows Store, which makes it harder to mod. Now that it's on Steam, it's kind of like, it's out of their hands, I think, right? Like, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the mods that come out of Gears of War Reloaded, because I hate that Ultimate Edition for Gears of War. I think it's not like Combat Evolved Anniversary, but it is close in that there are a lot of areas of the first Gears of War where the atmosphere is kind of ruined. And it's not necessarily because they made artistic changes. It's more that they didn't consider that simply translating the original game into a more photorealistic visual style will change the look of the game and the atmosphere of the game and the ambience. As well as there's just like areas where things that they didn't consider, and I'm thinking if I was a developer in the offices, I would have been one of the first to raise a hand at, hey, this seems like something we should probably address. When you rev up your chainsaw in the original Gears of War on the 360, it would cough up all this black smoke. Like, so much black smoke. Like, it was comical. And it was badass, you know, like, vroom, bah, 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 vroom, vroom, you know, and you're running up to the locusts with it, and black smoke is all over the place. In the Reloaded, it's like, it's there. Like, there is a particle effect, but it's so faint that I wouldn't blame you if you thought that they had just removed the smoke completely. It's like this very faint white mist rather than black thick smoke. And it's like forgetting to put the cape on Superman, you know? It's such a weird bungle. And I loaded up Gears of War Reloaded, and they didn't fix that. The chainsaw still doesn't make smoke when you use it. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll wait for the community to, like, make mods that restore a lot of the missing detail like that, you know? There's also another level that has rain. It's, like, very rainy, and in the original game there was, like, thunder, lightning. It's very dark. It's very stormy. And in Gears of War Reloaded, it's, like, this shitty-looking light drizzle. You know, other areas that I don't think can be fixed, because that's just a little bit too ambitious, but changes in cutscene direction. The original Gears of War had a cutscene style that was similar to, like, some of Halo Reach's cutscenes, you know, where, like, the camera would kind of shake and wobble, and it would move around as if there was an unseen camera operator. You know? And in fact, the cutscenes were one long take during missions, like mid-mission cutscenes. And the camera operator would be, like, following the guys, physically moving through the cutscene setting. You know, like stepping over bodies and stuff, the way that the camera would bob. It felt like you were there with Delta Squad. You know, if Marcus is like, look up there, like the camera guy would whip in that direction with the rest of Delta Squad. It was very immersive. But for Gears of War Ultimate Edition, they were like, throw that shit out. Let's just have traditional camera cuts, establishing shots, steady cams, dolly cams. Like, it's just like, you know, video game cutscene. Like, they got rid of that gritty handheld feel that the cutscenes had in Gears of War 1 and replaced them with something Very polished, but so much less interesting to look at, in my opinion. What's worse is that all the content likely would have been made available in some form. The leakers burnt it all down for a vendetta against the studio. Yep. Yeah. Apparently, the Microsoft was super interested to see if there was a way to restore and finish lost Halo 3 levels, like Guardian Forest and the Forerunner City. Like, properly finish up those levels. Now that will never happen. We will never see that happen now. I've only got theories as to who it could have been in the community. Because even I don't know. You know, nobody really knows for sure. And I should probably preface this by saying it was not the dig site crew in its entirety. It was one person that did this. Oh, that's the compression, says Durandal. I'm not too plussed about what a big corporation thinks about its community, to be honest. I'm plussed about it because it involves us getting good content, you know? Like, you don't want a corporation to be resentful of their fan base, you know? And granted, it does go both ways. And I feel like, all things considered, Microsoft was being coaxed out of their shell and encouraged to be more proactive with the community, and it was working for a little while with the MCC. And now all of that goodwill is gone. Microsoft's put back up their wall, and I doubt we'll have that level of trust from them again. And unfortunately, this time it was not Microsoft's fault. Like, we can't blame them, you know? Here from Warthog Radio, that's been so fun, says Lazy Bald Thing. I'm glad you liked it, Lazy Bald Thing. Warthog Radio's a shit ton of fun to do. Yeah, guys, go check out the latest Warthog Radio episode. It's awesome. We started off, I completely forgot that we were recording, and it led to a very funny intro to the episode. How's Invasion? Invasion's great. Invasion is freaking awesome so far. It's more fun than Reach's Invasion. Not that Reach's Invasion was bad, but a lot of the areas where Reach's Invasion could have been improved have been improved. Playing at a nice, what's the FOV? Here we go. 78 FOV. So that you guys can see these forge maps nice and crispy. Hang on. It's a thing I've learned from working on the evolution of Halo, as well as definitely for T-Dog, working on Call of Duty content for T-Dog. It's actually really interesting. So I've been making... The reason I haven't been uploading much, which you guys have probably noticed, don't worry, I'm hoping to change that. The reason I haven't been uploading much is because I've been making content for a Call of Duty YouTuber. And it's super interesting seeing the way the Call of Duty community reacts to my scripts about Call of Duty and my editing style. Because it's all coming from T-Dog, but it's like, you know, I'm writing it for him. They're not used to, like, us Halo fans. You know, because us Halo fans, we get into the weeds about stuff. And they're not used to that. And they really like the content we've been doing. And I've been employing a lot of the things that I've learned from editing Halo videos. Like, if you're going to record gameplay, don't make the FOV 120. Like, please don't be that guy. Like, it's for your own, you know, health, motion sickness, and all of that. By all means, like, you definitely should, you know, prioritize your own comfort. But to make for a very nice cinematic viewing experience, you can't be like, the maps in Call of Duty are beautiful, and your field of view is so freaking wide that you can see, like, behind yourself, and everything is warped and distorted. You gotta think about your player view as a camera. So you gotta have your FOV hovering somewhere around 60 to 70 for it to have that nice cinematic, you know, like the subject is in focus, you've got foreground, which is your weapon, the background, like, no dead space, you know? And it's really funny seeing them react to more cinematic video styles. It's that comic of blob creatures coming out of its safety box, immediately getting hit with extreme negativity, and then going back into a thicker walled box. Yeah, that's basically Microsoft. They're the blob creature, and they were coaxed out of their box by 343. Like, come on, trust the community. Everything will be fine, blob creature. Like, you can share some of this Halo material you're hoarding. And the blob creature is like, well, okay, but just this once. And then immediately, somebody kicked the blob creature in its shins and stole everything it had. And now the blob creature is, like, hiding in its box, and it's reinforced the box with concrete. And we'll probably never see the blob creature again. Yeah, that would be cool to get Marcus Lato or Jamie Griesmer on the podcast. I'd love to get Jamie Griesmer on the podcast. I'm not sure if he'd want to, because I'd imagine he's not a fan of me. Marcus Lato, I'd imagine, is probably, like, hiding on an island somewhere, like some kind of, like, Welsh, you know, like, off the coast of Scotland as, like, a hermit. Because the video game industry just keeps handing him a bad deal. Like, I feel so bad for Marcus Lato, dude. I wonder how he feels with Battlefield coming out. Because he worked on the campaign for Battlefield before his studio was just, like, shut down by EA. Like, I assume Battlefield will probably have, like, a fine campaign. But I'd imagine it's very painful for him that the, you know, Battlefield 6 marketing blitz is going on right now. Damn it. I miss MW 2019 era COD maps. I do too. Guys, I like Modern Warfare 2019's map design. I think Modern Warfare 2019 probably had at least my favorite map lineup in modern Call of Duty history. With Black Ops 6 probably being the worst so far. Modern Warfare 2 22, like the new Modern Warfare 2, you know, that one was also not great. But there were a couple of, like, I don't know. I like when there's a more healthy variety of maps, you know, like, don't get me wrong, like, the 3-lane maps can be fun. And they are fun. But when they're all 3-lane and they're all hyper competitively designed and focused, then it's, like, not as fun. It's like, what if, like, everything that you ate, every single meal was ice cream? Like, ice cream stops being fun, you know? So I like when a Call of Duty map has, like, a little 3-lane thing, like a shoot house or whatever. And then you get, like, Euphrates Bridge, which is gigantic and sprawling and crazy and chaotic. And then you're back to something a little bit more small. Like, that stuff's fun to me. It's more fun than like kind of like the Treyarch philosophy of just like all of our maps feel exactly the same and are designed exactly the same. Hiding on an island sounds different nowadays. Yeah, I realized as it was coming out of my mouth. That's why I specified somewhere off the coast of Scotland. That's why I had to be very quick to specify not that kind of island, like the good kind. For a man like Marcus Lato, who is a good man. I've also got Marcus Lato's his flop game, Disintegration. I was thinking of streaming it, but man, Disintegration's a tough game to play through. It's not even that it's bad. It really, really lacks charisma. You know, like they're just, from start to finish, there's no hook. Have you played Expedition 33? I have not. So the amazing thing about being married is that I'm rarely bored, you know? And a side effect of being rarely bored is that I don't have a lot of time to play like those crazy sprawling, narratively focused RPG stuff anymore. I find that I'm more like, I've been gravitating more towards like simple, mindless stuff. Or not mindless, you know, but like cute little games, my multiplayer games, my Helldivers, my Halo. I have to be very picky about what narrative game I'm going to get into. Because, like, I don't, you know, there's lots to do, lots of fun to have. I'm not as bored as I used to be. Poor Marcus Lato after what happened in Battlefield 2042. Marcus Lato, he was basically set up to work on narratively expanding Battlefield. For Battlefield 6 is essentially a reboot for the Battlefield franchise. It's the development team has kind of been rebuilt from the ground up. DICE is a very different DICE than they used to be. Like the Frostbite engine is quite a bit different now. And Marcus Lato, he was set up with his own studio, and their job was basically to handle the campaign side of Battlefield going forward. And their studio was shut down. And I'd imagine all of the work that they did, like, development probably wasn't going very smoothly, but all the work that they did do was kind of handed off. I forgot to what team. And they're basically assembling a campaign from it. Which doesn't mean the campaign's going to be bad, by the way. But I'd imagine that it's very painful to Marcus now. Like the upcoming release of Battlefield 6. Late night brain rot. JK. No JKing. That's sort of... Maybe not brain rot. I don't really like brain rotty stuff. Like, Call of Duty depresses me. Modern COD games. I think I've talked about it before. If I play too much of the modern Call of Duty games, like, I get depressed. you know? I get, like, stressed out. I feel sluggish. I feel like I don't really want to do anything. Which might be overstimulation. I don't know. Just, it's a feeling that Call of Duty didn't used to give me. And there are a lot of modern games that do that. So it's probably something to do with how, like, modern games are designed. Something about it. Like, my brain just disagrees with it. There's probably some psychological thing going on, whether it's like the sound of the hit markers, the pop-ups of the UI, the constant distribution of content. Like that is something that does genuinely exhaust me. I have more fun with modern game releases when they're dead than when they're alive. Because if I'm like logging onto a Call of Duty game and it's like Battle Pass, trailer for the next season, like, here's, like, your challenges, get them done now, like, limited time event, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like, I get this, like, it's like stepping out of your house, and there's a crowd that's running down the street, and they're running, and they're screaming, and people are like, what's going on, you know, like, people are nudging you, and then you're being pushed, you're like, oh, like, and I've got to run with the crowd, and I don't know where we're going, and I've completely forgotten why I stepped out of my house, what I was supposed to be doing, and by the end of it, I'm, like, tired, you know? I'm, like, tired, I still don't know where we're all running to in such a hurry. And at first it's exciting because of the adrenaline and the constant, like, craziness, but yeah, not anymore. Like, I'm very tired with live servicey stuff. It's kind of, like, amazing that Halo is, like, Halo Infinite is sort of, like, dead, so to speak, because its level of content is like, Forge. I'm not getting, like, the craziest, hypest new content release that everybody's rushing to make videos about, you know? Yeah, supposedly there's some story in 2042 about no pats or something. Yeah, all that stuff was super stupid. The lore and world building of Battlefield 2042 is very bad. It's very bad. It's not good. It's a great idea. Like a sort of this is fucking awesome. Holy shit. Are we escorting a goddamn payload in Halo and it's on a forklift? This is great. This is awesome. What the hell? This is Invasion. This rocks. Are you kidding me? What the hell? Dude, if you're gonna rip off in Overwatch mode, like escort the payload, this is how you do it. I love this. God, I forgot what I was gonna say. Like, I like the idea of Battlefield 2042, that it's set in the year 2042, and it's like 2 decades into, you know, kind of like the point of no return for... I forgot what it was. What was the point of no return? It was like, I think 2013 or something like that. As far as, like, things we can do to kind of, like, stop and reverse climate change. And it's like, now we're past the point of no return. So going forward, extreme weather events will start to become the norm for the planet Earth. And I like the idea that 2042 is set, you know, in the year 2042. So shit's not doing too great climate-wise. But it doesn't do it in a very creative way. Like, it thinks climate disasters are just a giant tornado appears every now and then, you know? I'm like, no. Like, give us maps that are set in parts of the United States that are starting to become deserts, like abandoned farmlands and stuff where you can't grow crops anymore, you know, or places in the Arctic where there's, like, lots of water, lots of flooding because, you know, like, ice caps are melting and stuff like that. Not ice caps. Where are ice caps located? You know what I'm talking about, right? They just felt like battlefield locations where a tornado would hit every now and then. I'm like, that's not creative for like a world reeling under ecological pressure. I don't know. And then the no-pat stuff was very stupid. The no-pats were... So there's this ongoing, constant problem in live service games. Oh, you know what? Helios Drive just said, it's why I don't see it worth having a seething hatred for development studios anymore. That negativity just leads to collateral community damage like we saw. Yeah, and ultimately, like, a lot of developers are actually on the community's side. And the reason they're doing a bad thing or a stupid thing is usually because of pressure. Like, they're on your side, and you hating them just leads to them being like... There's a story from a Halo Infinite developer where they were like, why bother when it came to testing content for Halo Infinite post-launch? Because it was like, they're just going to hate us. Like, what's the point of QA testing all this stuff? They're just going to hate us. And I, like, you know, that's not, like, a great mindset to have, but I get it, you know? Yeah, but the no-pats are part of this. It's this super interesting problem that, like, modern live service game, or not modern live service, modern military shooters set in the modern day or close to the modern day are facing now. Like, not that, like, so I'd say probably if I could use, like, Call of Duty as an example, what Call of Duty used to do is set itself in World War II. There you go. You got Nazis, like real world bad guys, you know, like as close to an evil alien army as it can get in terms of like, yeah, nobody's gonna go out and say like, oh, we need to be more, a little bit more nuanced about this. Like, no, bad guys versus good guys in the case of World War II. But for modern conflict, the world is a lot more nuanced than that. Like, you can't just have a game set in the Middle East, like terrorists versus U.S. Marines, because then you've got to dive into the real-world history of the United States and the Middle East and all of that stuff, and you start to realize that it's kind of fucked up, like, it's very fucked up. So what Call of Duty would do to get around that is it would have, like, basically Russia be the bad guy, like in World War II. And the problem is you still want to sell your game in Russia. So what it came up with is, well, World War III was started because of an ultra-nationalist. Like, nationalists, even nationalists wouldn't start a World War III, so we invent super nationalist, ultra nationalist Makarov has tricked Russia into going to war with the United States. But now even that's becoming problematic because then, you know, Russia might be like, what the fuck? And then they just won't sell your game there. So now what Battlefield came up with was, well, what you're playing as are no pats. They're aligned to no nation. And they're just mercenaries for hire that fight a big war. And countries can hire them to fight this war for them so that they're not involved. So it's just like trying to be as apolitical as humanly possible in the modern setting, which is unfortunately very political. And I think the current Battlefield game is super interesting because so no pats are very stupid. Like, a war fought entirely by soldiers who are not aligned to any nation. That's very dumb. How are there millions of people like that? What Battlefield has come up with, which I think is still stupid, but it's okay. It couldn't be any less stupid than ultra-nationalists. what Battlefield 6 has come up with is the entire world has been attacked by a private military company. Okay. That's pretty fucking dumb. Like, that's insanely stupid, man. But I'm on board. Like, when the fake president in the recent Battlefield 6 trailer, he's like, my fellow Americans, the world is under attack. And to the Pax Armada paid mercenaries who are invading our cities, it's over. I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, that is so dumb. How does a military company have the, not just the resources and the numbers, how do they have the ability, like, where are they operating from? How are they able to, at the same time, invade multiple European countries and the United States and have the financial backing to be able to, like, all right, employees, we're going to war with the world. You can all still be paid. It's it just, like, the whole explanation falls apart. But I'm on board with it, man. All right, Battlefield 6, a company has declared war on the world. My favorite military game is Metal Gear Solid, says Andrew Brown. Metal Gear Solid, none of that bullshit. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid gets a little bit in the nitty-gritty. But also, in Metal Gear Solid's defense, I'd say Metal Gear was never aiming to be, like, a widely popular franchise. Like, Hideo Kojima he just went off, man. He said what he wanted to say, you know? No Pats sounds like a discount Outer Heaven. Yeah, basically. No Pats are stupid. And the Battlefield 2042 Twitter headline thing was hashtag we are no Pats. And I'm like, hashtag no we are not. Like, it's like that that meme, like, stop trying to make no Pats a thing. No Pats will never be a thing. Who are they paid by? Well, they're paid by the Pax Armada Corporation that hires all these mercenaries. It's a duh. I'm just thinking, like, where are they operating from? Like, where's the CEO of this, like, evil company that has invaded the world? Do they have a moon base? Where are they hiding? Where's their CEO, man? I'm so curious about the Battlefield 6 campaign because of that. When the president in this Battlefield 6 trailer said, and to the Pax Armada mercenaries who are invading our cities, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so dumb. I can't wait to see how they figure out how to justify a company having the resources to invade the planet. I'm so ready for the Battlefield 6 campaign. It's like Modern Warfare 2, the classic Modern Warfare 2, is very stupid in that a wanted Russian terrorist, Vladimir Makarov, pretends to be Americans and shoots up a Russian airport, which makes Russia invade the United States in retaliation. And I'm thinking, wanted terrorist Makarov attacked an airport? You know, like the buildings with security cameras? Surely they can verify that it was not Americans then. But then beyond that, how did Russia have the infrastructure to invade the United States? Like, one of the levels in... They invaded Virginia. One of the levels is set in Virginia. I'm like, you have to cross multiple state lines to get to Virginia, right? From the East Coast? How'd they have the infrastructure for that? Modern Warfare 3 opens with New York burning. And I'm just thinking, what's in New York? Why are they Look, what? Like this battle plan, like looking at the map of Russia's invasion of the United States, it makes no sense. It seems like strategically designed to waste as many soldiers and as many resources as possible. Hey, Tristan, welcome to the channel, my friend. You have access to our Discord, right? Yeah. Oh, man, Tristan's going to hop into our secret Discord chat. Tristan, thank you so much for joining, friend. Hey, same needler skin as me. Nice, nice. Oh, excuse me. That was a very nasty burp. So the Battlefield 6 campaign is just Advanced Warfare. It seems like that, where it's just private military company with mercenaries for hire, somehow has the resources, funding, and infrastructure to wage wars on multiple countries at once. Damn, what did Virginia do? Well, I assume it's like they're thinking, what they're probably thinking is the developers of Modern Warfare 2. What they're probably thinking is they're coming for the president in Washington, D.C. Like, that's probably what they're thinking. But I don't, like, if you were to invade the United States, I don't think holding Washington, D.C. would provide much strategic value. Like, maybe political value and, like, morale value. But I don't think you'd have a lot there, because if you've ever been in the Washington, D.C. area, it's basically like flatlands, you know? And there's water all over the place, so there wouldn't, like, you've got the Potomac River, so there would be many ways that, like, enemy forces could flank you, that could get through your defenses and stuff, like, and if you were to be surrounded, there would be, like, nowhere you could run. Like, Washington, D.C. seems very stupid, strategically speaking. They pinned it on the U.S. due to one of the gunmen being a U.S. agent going undercover to spy on Makarov, the one you play as, who gets left for dead. Yes, yes. And that's also why Makarov, at the beginning of that... Okay, so Modern Warfare 2, the campaign has a level where you play as a United States spy who's spying on Vladimir Makarov just to see what he's up to see what he's been planning. And in order to keep your cover, you partake in a terrorist attack where you're given a machine gun that has 200 rounds per reload, and you can just shoot up the airport with... So I guess that's what he was planning. And I guess you also start shooting at civilians just to see what he might really super be up to. You know, just to be sure. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's okay. And at the beginning of the terrorist attack, Vladimir Makarov turns to you and says, "Remember." That's what he sounds like. "Remember, no Russian." Because they should all be speaking English so that the survivors can say, "I don't know, I just heard people speaking English." And then at the end of your mission, it's like, you know, "Good job, Vladimir. This will send a message." And then Vladimir Makarov says, That was no message. This is a message." And then he turns around and shoots you because he knew you were the spy. So all they find of the terrorist attack is an American body, like an American CIA spy's body. And they don't bother to check the security cameras, which would show world-wanted terrorist Vladimir Makarov, the guy who's been on the news shooting up civilians. They don't bother checking. They just find a CIA body. And they're like, oh, got it. It was America. America did this. It was all Americans. Let's invade the United States. Like, immediately. Let's declare war. Immediately. And then they attack Virginia. They spend a lot of resources on attacking Virginia. It's a very silly campaign. Like, when you think about the politics of Modern Warfare 2's campaign, you realize how little sense it makes. It's funny how badly the OG Modern Warfare trilogy aged in its portrayal of Russia invading successfully the United States, given the former's performance in Ukraine. Yeah, like, Russia doesn't even have the bandwidth to be able to successfully take over Ukraine. Like, you know, it's just very adorable, the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. It's very, like, cute, almost, in what they think these world powers are capable of. Or how they think war is done. But it's okay. Also, my pleasure. Was wondering if you, your opinion on Halo novels are, if you like them, what's your favorite novel? Dude, Halo novels rock. Halo novels are so good, dude. What's also a lot of fun about Halo novels is it lets Halo be a little bit weirder than it normally would. They're not all bangers, you know, and that's okay. I think the Karen Travis novels are largely not great. Because she thinks that, like, the world of Halo is, like, a cynical, nihilistic world like Gears of War, and it's not. But there are a lot of great novels. A lot of really good novels. Fall of Reach is really good. I would have to say probably my favorite, though, at the moment. Like, when I think of what is my favorite Halo novel of all time, I still think it might be Halo New Blood, which is the book about how Buck became a Spartan. It kind of acts as a follow-up to ODST, and it feels like it's written like a noir detective story, kind of. Like, it's got this very, like bluesy feel, you know? It's just men reflecting on their lives, where it all went wrong, the mistakes that have been made. You know, and it's kind of like Buck experiencing a personal tragedy, and kind of the way that the squad, the ODST squad, all reacts to the personal tragedy. And it ends in a very, very emotional climax that concludes with Buck joining the Spartan program and getting augmented. And I think it's a very good book. I know people don't like the fact that the rookie dies and that's the emotional tragedy, but I think that it served the purpose very well, which was it was this tragedy that all sparked a reaction from the various people. And I think the fact that it was the player character, like, if it was just like a John Doe that they just introduced for that book, and they're like, trust me, this person mattered a lot to them, you've just never heard of this person before, then it probably wouldn't have been as impactful as it being like you know? Like, I got sad when I read that chapter. I was like, dude. Oh shit, there's a Halo 3 AA gun in the background. Is it a Halo 3 AA gun? I thought it was... Oh, it is! It is. It's a Covenant one. I thought it was banished for a second. Have you ever noticed that the AA guns in Halo Infinite's campaign, they're Covenant AA guns that have been banished up. Like, look at them. They got the 3 legs. They got the really long cannon. It's the same design. It's just been banished. I think that that's cool. I do absolutely love Rubicon Protocol, but rest in peace, Rookie. I'm currently myself working on a Halo fan novel called Kaidon Trials. Focuses on elite politics. That's cool. That's fun. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. A Halo book that I really want to read is Broken Circle, which is like the Elite's past. I'm super keen on reading that one. Do you like the new mode? Invasion? Yeah, dude, Invasion is great. It's really good, and the maps are brilliant. Like, this is, the last update was really great, like the Falcon and stuff, but this is, like, it's causing my creative juices to, I was gonna say my juices to spin, but that makes no sense at all. Thinking of making a video about this. I gotta figure out how to do it in a way that won't get people, like, furious and angry, because if you say anything positive about Halo, people get mad. Like, the Forge maps look great so far. OG COD Modern Warfare Russian military is based on its successful portrayal in propaganda and Russia Strunk memes, the world's second most powerful military. It's also, like, a weird holdover from, like, the Cold War, you know? Because, like, the problem with Modern Warfare is they, you know, which EA learned the hard way with their Medal of Honor reboot, by having it be, you know, at the time, the war on terror, war in the Middle East, like, very current. It was happening, and people had strong feelings about it, and the reasons that was happening, and, you know, maybe it was in poor taste to be making a game about a conflict that was still going on, that was, you know, the reasons for that conflict occurring were a little bit murky. EA learned that the hard way with Medal of Honor, kind of like, you know, lots of public outcry from all sides, really. Like, United States Air Force bases, I think, even refused to stock the game. And Call of Duty 4 successfully navigated that. It was able to basically use the War on Terror as a costume, because it never specified what country in the Middle East you're in. You know, but with Modern Warfare 2, the original, it was very clear that they wanted to get further away from real-world stuff. Which is why they invented their insane Vladimir Makarov started World War III thing. They made, like, the most outlandish campaign possible, so that it was like, oh, well, this is too stupid to ever be realistic. Like, who could be offended by this? None of this plot makes sense. Halo fans don't like positivity, says Monty Ricard, which is, some Halo fans certainly do not. They just want to be mad. And I find that it's better for my mental health to just be like, it is what it is. I choose to not lose sleep over it. Which is the great thing about being married. Another good thing about being married, besides never being bored, is it's also like a bit of a reality check that there are some things that don't really matter. Like, Halo Infinite came out and it was kind of stinky. you know, for a little bit. And it took way too long to kind of get up off its feet. But it's okay. It doesn't really matter. Like, my dog's out of food, you know? I gotta go to the store later and pick up some meat, you know, because my dog doesn't eat kibble. I cook him his food. My wife's feeling a little bit under the weather, you know, so, like, I'm gonna make her some tea later. We're gonna play some House Flipper together. You know, it's like that kind of stuff. And that's probably also reflected in some of my content as well, like why I've gotten less angry in my videos, less hyperbolic and dramatic, because being married does really, it's a reality check about what matters and what doesn't really matter. The mutilator skin you're using looks awesome. I love the spikes on top and how they expand and contract depending on which firing mode the gun is set to. Yeah. It's a good one. It was part of the recent... Dude, the last battle pass, the last operation pass, like the previous one that was 50 tiers, that was good. That was really good. It was like good value. It was part of that. There was an Avenger SMG model that I think is kind of like a stinky. Like I don't think it's very good. Because it kind of it's got like a weird thing on the top of it that I think looks a little bit awkward. But this map's a little bit too long range. Okay. But that mutilator kit is great looking. I really, really like it. What is your favorite Halo helmet? Ooh, it's pretty much like anything that's ODST themed. I just really like the ODST stuff. I like the shape of that helmet. Only ODST helmet I think I don't like is that Halo 4 one. And even that's not like the most fair thing in the world, because you can tell that that Halo 4 ODST helmet was... They shaved off every single polygonal edge they could find for performance reasons. Like, you can tell it's heavily compromised. Metal Gear is about things Ocelot does for his crush, Big Boss. From trying to keep Big Boss alive in Snake Eater to rescuing Big Boss from his coma. I remember Ocelot. That guy... most of my experience with Metal Gear is Phantom Pain, and I remember Ocelot was... That dude hyped me up so much. He was like... What was the... He had like this insane speech that he gave, and then I like took off into the wilderness on a horse, and I was like, I like that guy. And then doesn't he... Isn't like memes are made about him? Like he does like crazy gun flips. Poo-poo! How's Invasion? Invasion is great pooping pills. My wife's really happy to see you, by the way. That's... You can tell by the way she screamed out, poo-poo! This is it. This is the Avenger SMG kit. You can see it's got like it's that top thing. I don't like that thing right on the top with the blue light attached to it. Like, what is that? What? Get that thing off. It kind of like ruins the look. It looks like a hat. It looks like this gun is wearing a weird hat. Admittedly, the new Infinite Classic Mark V is my favorite helmet right now. Is that the Combat Evolved helmet? Because the Combat Evolved helmet looks really good in this game. Like, really, really good. There we go. Okay. Back in action. This looks so fucking cool. It's very fucking cool. There's this awesome map where one team is at the top of a mountain and there's a gigantic satellite dish. And you have to jump down off of the mountain into the military base in the valley below. And it's just awesome. Like, the scale of the map is so cool. It feels like a Battlefield 3 map. So here, we're gonna keep going. Operation Warpath, I am going to throw on a... No, I gotta save some of these XP boosts. Because I noticed they've stopped giving them out so much. Nah, the one on the Halo 2 helmet. On the Halo 2 Chief Kit. Okay. It's... No, it's not here. It's... That's pretty good. That one's great. I also think that one's great, too. Yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot of good helmets in Halo Infinite. Last time I played was with you in that Rainbow Toilet Warthog game. Oh yeah, the Rainbow Toilet. They should add Beavis and Butthead. Alright, pooping pills, you're being silly. Yeah, look at this. I've got three of these things now. I don't need another. Here, we'll throw on this guy for a little bit, just for like a change of pace. Here, I've got this. I'm not even sure what this one is like going for, you know? It's just like a very odd looking, very odd looking. Don't sleep on Cavallino. Oh, that's Rebecca's favorite helmet from Halo Infinite. Halheed. Or because of the autocorrect, Hillheed. Do you prefer the 60-round Combat Evolved Assault Rifle or the regular 32-round Assault Rifle? Depends on the purpose, I think. I think functionally the 60-round Assault Rifle adds more to the game than the 32-round one. But the 32-round one in Halo 3, campaign-wise, is pretty hard-hitting. Which is not a joke, by the way. I learned from Vengeful Vadam that it has a unique brute armor multiplier that makes it one of the best brute weapons, anti-brute weapons in the game. It takes only a few shots to completely drain their shield, their armor completely. Which, after I learned that, I went into the campaign, and by golly, it's pretty damn good in the campaign. But I think generally I like the 60-round one. What I think I like about the 60-round one is it... Like, I understand the balancing reason for the 32-round one, and the reason why a Halo assault rifle should not be competitively viable with like against a battle rifle, you know? Like, the assault rifle should be close range. And there's mechanical balancing reasons for why that should be. But I think the 32 rounds with the close range, it's like this, it's just this thing that the community can't really accept. Like, it's just too little ammo, too little range, and they can't look past the design reasons for why it's like that. But I think the 60 rounds are enough ammo to where you can get past the fact that it's a close-range weapon, because by Jove, it just has so much goddamn ammo, you know? And so I think that that's the balance to strike, is the 60 rounds, close range, high rate of fire, long reload time. It seems to be that happy middle ground that makes the community okay with a close-ranged assault rifle. Damn it. The Halo 3 AR is perfect for the multiplayer sandbox. It sort of is, but a lot of people don't like to hear that. And it's not perfect because it's great. It's perfect because it's not. For social game modes, it is a weapon that forces you to use your melee attacks and your grenades, which involves getting close to people. So it encourages movement. It encourages people being out in the open, not really like sticking with power positions and stuff, and encourages people to constantly be moving around looking for a ranged weapon like a battle rifle. So it encourages healthy player movement and a very chill, constantly busy atmosphere. Especially in the original Halo 3 social modes, which were 5v5. So there were always players around, always assault rifles being fired, people throwing grenades, meleeing. Once you do 4v4 and you make the assault rifle a ranged weapon, problems start. I think I've said before, the reason that the battle rifle and the DMR are okay to be ranged is because they have slow fire rates and very predictable fire rates, because their fire rates are so slow. Like, if you're being attacked by a DMR in reach, you can hear the shot cadence in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're dead, you know? That gives you enough time to, like, bob and weave, because you know what each pause is, you know? Same with the battle rifle. It's, you know, ba-ba-bum, 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 ba-ba-bum. But with the assault rifle, if it has range, it's brr, 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 you know, it's all over the place. There's no predictable firing pattern. Think of it like a metronome, you know, for music. You can't find that beat. And that's what makes the assault rifle so frustrating when it has a long range to it, in a way that the DMR and battle rifle are not frustrating. Is the assault rifle, it's chaotic and inconsistent, its fire rate, and it has the range of a battle rifle and DMR. And that's also why pro players don't like the assault rifle having, like, long range. Because for them, the competitive nature of Halo, what makes competitive Halo gunfights fun, is that, you know, the fire rate of the ranged weapon does give a metronome to gunfights. So, when Halo 5 tried doing AR starts for competitive, it didn't feel good. There was no rhythm to the gunfights. It was just chaotic spamming, you know? Nothing at a rhythm, nothing at a pacing. How do you feel about having unique vehicles in place of Warthog variants, i.e. the Razorback, Mastodon over Troop Hog, Wolverine over Rocket Hog, etc.? That's not a bad idea. That's actually not a bad idea at all. Like, rather than having Warthog variants introduce canon Halo vehicles. That's not a bad idea. Because prior to launch, I didn't get the Razorback. I was like, this is weird. This is just a troop transport hog. Why are they calling it like a Razorback? Like we've never had a troop transport hog before. But I get it now. It's bulkier. It's a larger target. You can load stuff up into the back. It does feel quite a lot different from the troop transport hog. So yeah, I'd be totally on board with like further personalizing like some of the Warthog variants and making new ones out of them. Like what would a rocket hog feel like if it wasn't just a Warthog with a rocket on the back? You could probably even tweak like the damage values of the chassis, the profile, make it a little bit bigger if you need to, like so that it's more balanced. Not that the Warthog isn't well balanced, but you get what I mean. What is your favorite reach armor ability? Don't you dare say armor lock. Oh man. In terms of like its implementation? Probably sprint, which sounds crazy to say, but I felt like sprint and reach was fine. Like, obviously, you know, you could maybe, you know, tweak a couple things. Sprint, you know, made base movement in Halo Reach feel kind of sluggish, but as far as Sprint's introduction to Halo is concerned, I feel like Reach did it tastefully. Poop hog. It says pooping pills. That's something Rebecca would say. Have Halo pros ever gave an example of an auto-friendly HCS weapon instead of autos get banned? Yeah, the Combat Evolved Assault Rifle. Most people consider to be really well balanced. But also, it's just that, like, modern Halo has yet to present one that feels good. Maybe the Commando, if you would even consider that. I mean, the problem with the Commando is it doesn't feel great to fire at long range. Just because of the bullet spread, but I don't know. Yeah, like in competitive Combat Evolved, the assault rifle is actually a really cool weapon. It's there's like weird quirks in Combat Evolved that are tied to it. Like when you pick up a camo in Combat Evolved, for some reason when you fire other guns, so you pick up the camo, you're whoa, you can hear the camo sound in your head. You slowly become invisible, and then you're fully invisible. But if you fire your gun immediately after picking it up, you go invisible a little bit quicker. But for some reason, with the assault rifle, you almost become invisible immediately after firing it. So the assault rifle is actually a great weapon if you're rushing camo. Because you're from spawn, camo's up, your teammate called it out, you're rushing for the camo, there's gunfire everywhere. Get out your assault rifle. The second you run over that camo, pop, like fire off one shot, and then you're instantly invisible. And just get into the shadows and hide for a second. The enemy team doesn't know where you went, and then you can start moving about and causing chaos. As well as like the Combat Evolved Assault Rifle, if you fire into somebody and you're at really close range, and they've maybe got like something like the pistol or whatever, honestly, you could probably do some damage if you keep moving and just use your assault rifle and just start whacking him, because the assault rifle is a faster than normal melee speed. Jetpacks because custom games. Yeah, jetpacks were also fun in Reach. I'm just thinking of, like, matchmaking stuff, and the jetpack always felt so, like, I guess it felt cheap, because I'm like, if you want to go up, if you want to get to the second floor, you should use the goddamn stairs. Use the level design. Like, there's a reason the campaign never gave you jetpack. And it's because it ruins level design. While mounting different guns on the same chassis is militaristically realistic, in my opinion, having unique vehicles would allow for better fine-tuning and unique silhouettes. Yeah, I agree there. It would let the weapon, the different vehicles kind of like stand up on their own, you know? The most important part of this is the ability to use a computer for a single function, then have a simple setup for the next task. I miss the thruster movement from Halo 5, to be honest. Oh, I don't. It is, oh God. And going back to also Call of Duty Advanced Warfare recently, like, I re-downloaded it, getting some T-Dog footage for his video, and I'm so happy we're out of that era where every game wanted a thrust dodge. Because it's so frustrating that you've got a target and then just suddenly, boom, they're 5 feet to the left or the right or whatever, and they're juking and bobbing around, and it's just like the hands start sweating, you know? And then you've got like everyone in the lobby doing it, and it takes something that could be a lot of fun, very casual, if we've all got a predictable, you know, it's like a dance. You want to be able to predict the enemy team's movement. You know, what they're going to do, their body language. Like, you can see in Halo the way that their waist twists and the motions their feet are making, what direction they're about to strafe in. And with the thruster pack, you don't get that. It's just, in a single frame, suddenly they're in a completely different direction. And then for the campaign, that thruster pack, man, like the reason that the elites and the hunters and like all the different Covenant have like these weird bullshit like insta-kill powers in the Halo 5 campaign is because of the thruster pack. Because at any moment you have a get out of jail free card where you can just thrust in a random direction. So the AI have to be given these like bullshit lightning fast moves to counteract that. And it's just like, you know, it's there so that you feel cool, so that you feel like speedy and like really hard to shoot, but then so many systems are built into the game to keep you in check because you have a bullshit power that the whole combat loop just ends up feeling like bullshit. And it's like, just get rid of it. Never got an invite to the server, by the way. Is there a link? Oh, you didn't, Tristan? What's going on with the server, babe? Oh, I think she fell asleep. I think Rebecca fell asleep. Oh, okay. I love you, baby. Don't worry, Tristan. We'll get on that. Do you have a Discord by any chance, Tristan? If you do, reach out to me and I could send you a formal invite. Because Rebecca's also not feeling well, and she's the one who, I think she set up a bot to be able to handle this. But she's not feeling well tonight, so if you send me I don't want her to be, like, going crazy. The invite link is in the community tab. Yeah, that's right. Okay, go over to the community tab, and there is a link for people who are members of the channel. Just clocked in. How's Invasion, says Williasso. Williasso, Invasion's good, man. It's great, actually. Look at the scale of this map. That gives, like, Battlefield 3 vibes, doesn't it? And that's where we spawn from up there. Look, like, that's the map down there. Everyone's, like, goofing off down there. Boo! A little bit of Halo movement. Oh, no! I lagged a little bit. I know if you move too fast, the Halo Infinite servers, they get upset. But yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised by Invasion. It plays really well in Halo Infinite. For Super Earth. Let's get out of here. Uh-oh. Damn it. Okay. So the loadout selection is new. Is that Forge scripting stuff? Yeah, they added support for a menu in Forge. So now when you respawn, you've got that menu that pops up where you can select your loadout, you know, select where you want to spawn, and it's intuitive. You use the left stick to move around. Uh-oh. So now I'm going to spawn with the Avenger. Yeah, it's Invasion's cool. It played. There's also some Reach maps, and I think because Halo Reach, the armor abilities are very selfishly centered. You know, like a jetpack only benefits you, sprint only benefits you, armor lock, you know, active camo and all that. The fact that Halo Infinite has more neutral weapons, or neutral equipments, like powers. You know, you got your grappling hook and stuff, but you also have your drop wall. Like, that guy just deployed a drop wall, and I benefited from it. You know? There's more opportunities to play cooperatively with your buddies than there was in Halo Reach. Yeah, and just, I've been having fun. Like a surprising amount of fun. You can tell that I have a negative bias towards Reach multiplayer because of the jetpacks. Reach multiplayer is a lot of fun. Like, when I say things about Reach like that, that's not me saying Reach was a bad multiplayer. I don't like that. It's something that I notice, like, back in the day, I'd say, like, Halo 2 was a bad game because I was younger and I was obnoxious and hyperbolic and stuff, and I've recognized as I've gotten older that it's like, no, it's just my least favorite, like, Halo campaign, gameplay-wise, you know? Which maybe is not even the case, because, like, my opinions have shifted so much over time. Like, all the Halo games are great. Genuinely all of them. Including Halo 5. Like, usually a Halo game offers stuff that, like, other AAA games wish that they could offer. In terms of, like, just quality of campaigns, in terms of quality of, like, community tools and stuff. Shared a cool Deus Ex remix on the server. Check it. Oh, is it, UNATCO theme? Because the UNATCO theme slaps. I miss Bubble Shield, drop wall, dog poop. Yeah, drop wall maybe could have been... Maybe could have been spruced up a little bit more. I'm not even sure if, like, buffing it would have been a good idea, because I think buffing it would have presented problems, because you can shoot through it. Maybe switch it so that you can't shoot through it, and then buff it up. That way it can be more like, it gives you a breather, and allows you to kind of, like, you know, peek through it to see what the enemy's up to. How you feeling, baby? Yeah. Hey, LNG, what did you think of the evade ability from Reach? Does it have the same issues as the thruster pack? Sort of, yeah. Like, I get that the evade armor ability was kind of like giving you the fantasy of being an elite. Because, you know, in the campaign, the elites are, you know, like sidestepping and stuff like that. So it was like, what if players could do that when they're playing as the elites in Invasion? I just think it's kind of annoying. What makes evade not feel as frustrating is that it's not like a core part of the combat loop. It's just an armor ability, which means it won't be in all the modes. You're in the server now? Awesome, dude. Hail and G. Oh, I already read that. Just have some gripes with Reach's multiplayer because it doesn't feel classic Halo movement, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's a little bit slower. You don't jump nearly as high. I think it's okay, though, because it's, you know, Reach. What I'm more miffed by is the MCC version of Reach is the community update, and I don't think that that is, or the title update version of the game, and I don't think that's nearly as fun as the original Reach. I love you, princess. I like Halo 3 equipment more in general because it was neutral to the whole lobby and not just you and your teammates. I used to think that. So I like that idea, but, usually if like Halo Infinite has like a Reach or a Halo 3 analog, I prefer the Halo 3 version more. Like drop wall versus bubble shield, I prefer bubble shield. The regeneration field, I like the visual effects better in Halo 3 and the feel of it better in Halo 3. But, you know, I appreciate in Infinite that it repairs vehicles. But what I like about Halo Infinite, I think, is, and it sucks that, like, you know, sucks that not more are being added. I like that Infinite actually has a mixture of both really personal, like selfish equipment and neutral equipment. Because it kind of allows you to have like your Reach-esque custom games and then your more Halo 3-like custom games. If that makes sense. Like, it's cool that there's a drop wall like thing, or like a health healing thing, and a grappling hook. Because then that means you can have like a wacky Spider-Man custom game, but then when you hop on over to multiplayer, there are tools to be more supportive for your teammates. Could the actual equipment have been a little bit more interesting? Yeah. Yeah. But Halo 3 also had some, like, weird ones. Like the flare. So, like, even Halo 3 made some mistakes, and it's kind of like a pity that Halo 3 immediately ditched them. Oh, boy. Like, I think ultimately Infinite is probably the, out of Halo 3's equipment, out of Reach's armor abilities, and Halo 4's armor abilities by that extension, Infinite, I think, is the one that figured it out. Is you have the equipment system, finite equipment, design them a bit like armor abilities, where they have, like, a charge or a certain amount of uses. And there's, like, a mixture of ones that are self-centered and ones that are more team-oriented. Damn it. How about an Unreal Tournament style UNACO remix? That's cool. Is that what you sent over? I'm gonna give it a listen to later. Okay, late night. I'm gonna go to bed. See ya. Yeah, night night. Probably gonna do one more match and then me too, also night night. Bob's Big Kook, says Rebecca. It sucks that H2A multiplayer is dead on MCC. I can't blame it, because H2A multiplayer is now 11 years old. You can definitely find H2A multiplayer matches. You just gotta stay in that matchmaking. Big Team Battle is relatively dead, though. But regarding my fan novel, it's set on Sanghelios after the murder of the Kaidan of Mdama Keep. It focuses on the two brothers Durel and Usum Mdama. Yes, Jules' son, and yes, it's an AU. Alternate universe, I guess? Okay. That's fun. Like, I think it's okay to not strictly be canonical. Like, Halo is a lot more fun if it's treated kind of like George Lucas's Star Wars, where you don't really have to worry about a canon. Like, use the universe more as a setting to tell a story in, you know? I will say that after all this time, I find Halo 2 way more fun than Combat Evolved, says Deep Fried Vex. And I'd say, Deep Fried Vex, you are wrong, sir. Play some 2v2 Halo, and you will have the smoothest competitive experience of your life. 2v2 Halo, Combat Evolved, I still think is the best, the peak of competitive Halo. Not 4v4, not ranked or whatever, like 2v2 on Combat Evolved multiplayer. It is just so goddamn fun. One of these streams, I gotta do 2v2 matchmaking on MCC and get all of you to join and matchmake. Because it is just so fun. Like, the fact that there is only one other guy with you, and that each death puts a shit ton of pressure on the one that's alive, it creates this, like, you know, like you die, and then you're spectating the guy who's still alive, and you're seeing the way he's playing, and you see where he is, and then you respawn and you want to go over to that guy, you know? And then it encourages you guys to stick together, especially in objective modes. Because if you die, that means you just left your dude to defend the objective. So you want to play a little bit more smart. You want to stick together, you know? It's just 2v2 encourages you to play more carefully, play more cleverly, and it makes the act of dying not as stressful because you're immediately like, oh my god, I hope my guy gets it, you know? Even if you're gonna die, at least soften the shields so that your dude can clean up the kill. It's just, I love this unspoken camaraderie that comes out of players in 2v2 Combat Evolved. Also, I want to ask if the outlines replacing classic RVB team color was inspired by the ODST night vision mode, and if they saw that as accessibility. I actually don't think so. I think what they were actually thinking about was Overwatch, to be honest, because I remember that they when they were talking about it, there was a lot of like looking at how some games do friend or foe verification. And Overwatch was brought up a lot. Because also the friend or foe system, the benefit of it, which the business team likes, is that you can have people's skins constantly visible. Like, because if you're going to be monetizing the color of people's armor, you want people to feel like they're getting their money's worth. So you want them to have their colors on display at all times. I don't know if they were inspired by ODST stuff, because I know at least in the pitch it was Overwatch. And I mean in terms of campaign. Combat Evolved's campaign feels more like a drag every time I play it. Man, you are so wrong, Deep Fried Vex. You're telling me Halo 2... where you, like, shoot a grunt and it doesn't flinch, doesn't react to you at all. That's more fun than Combat Evolved, where you shoot grunts and they're, like, flinching and stumbling around. That drives me crazy in Halo 2, that none of the Covenant AI flinch when you shoot them. Like, when an elite's running away from me in Combat Evolved, and its shields are down, and I'm like, you get back here, you motherfucker. I like, shoot it in the leg, and it'll stumble and grab its leg in pain, and that gives me enough time to catch up to it and then whack it. But in Halo 2, they're just like, and they're, like, running around, and I'm opening fire on them, and just nothing. No reaction from them. It drives me crazy. The Needler got neutered in Halo 2. That's okay. In fact, the Needler's fine in Halo 2. That's like one thing I don't think I'll ever agree with people on. Because I'm like, the Needler is not a weapon you want to be great, right? Like, you don't want the Needler to be really good, because then that's a problem. Because the Needler, you don't even have to aim really with it, you know? Like, I think I said in my video that the Needler is kind of like the gun that you give to your, like... It's the gun that you use for memes, it's the gun that you use because it's really pretty, and it's the gun that you give to, like, the little kid that you're babysitting, or your younger nephew, or your younger sibling, or whatever, because they're bad at shooters, and this gun aims for itself. Like, even the worst version of the Needler, like Halo 2, is fine. Like... It's fine, you know, you can mow down some brutes with it, like, it's fine, it does its job okay. Hi, Late Night Gaming, says Jonah. Guess I prefer the game to feel fast. See, I think Combat Evolved feels fast. Like, when I think of Halo 2, I think of, like, jackals in the courtyard, where you can't move, because, like, the level has stopped dead in its tracks. And you're supposed to defend it. Like, there's so many segments in Halo 2 where you have to stay in an area and defend the position. Where in Halo Combat Evolved, I'm constantly room to room to room to room. I'm, like, never slowing down. And then the fact that you can backpack reload means I never even look at a reload animation either, you know? Just constant movement, constant action. I'm always shooting. My gun's always up. Enemies feel reactive, responsive. It's not that serious, by the way. I'm pulling his leg a little bit, okay? It's perfectly okay to like Halo 2. Halo 2 is fucking awesome. It's, as my wife called it, it's the Halo game that has sex appeal. And not in the weird gooner kind, in like the Master Chief just looks so damn cool in that game, you know? When he's, sir, giving the Covenant back their bomb. It's just like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Remember when Master Chief teleported into the Prophet's council chamber while they were giving that broadcast? About, like, we've found the sacred icon. The great journey will begin. The great journey is nigh. Nothing can stop us, not even the demon. And then Master Chief teleports in, and the poor little grunt that's operating the camera, he turns around, and Chief's like, boo! And then the grunt's like, and throws the needler up in the air. Halo 2 rocks, man. LNG, look at the new Halo Fortnite emote. LOL, your second favorite game. Uh-oh, there's a Halo emote in Fortnite? What is it? My second favorite game. Sonic? Adventure 2 Battle? Shout out to Halo 2 Rebalance, making the game feel like Combat Evolved. Genuinely so hyped for that mod. Yeah, but like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? That's the only problem with Halo 2 Rebalanced from Ruby. Is when can I play it? Because it looks really good and I want to play it. Bring back purple Cortana from Halo 1, the way she changes color in the control room. I freaking love that about Halo 1's Cortana, that her color changes depending on her mood. Like, remember when Chief put her into the Forerunner console, and she started like kind of like going crazy when she first interfaced with a Forerunner computer. She was like, there's so much information in here, you'd never believe the shit that's in here. And she like turns that like weird green color and her eyes look really odd. And Chief has to be like, slow down, we need to focus. And she's like, oh right, sorry. And then when Cortana's, like, mad, doesn't she, like, flash red? I don't know. Combat Evolved Cortana was cool. She was scary, though. And there's like this detail that I guess I never considered about Halo 2's level, the Cairo Station mission. So there's this set piece where you go outside to do a spacewalk in the first mission of Halo 2, and there's a giant Mac gun that's firing, and you're on it, and the level geometry is like shifting, you know, as it fires, and then it loads in another shell. It's this massive gun designed to destroy entire Covenant corvettes. And yeah, I hadn't connected the dots until relatively recently, the last year or so, that Cortana's controlling that giant ass gun that you're fighting on. Because, like, you can hear her, like, over the radio. What does she say? She says something like taking aim, fire, you know, or something. And then just boom, like, the whole level shakes and the gun fires and, like, the level geometry is shifting around. And you're shooting your gun. You're fighting the little Covenant. And Cortana's on the big gun. And she's fighting the big Covenant, you know, the big ships. So that section of that Halo 2 level is you and Cortana fighting side by side. You've got the little guns, and you're shooting at the little guys. She's got the big gun, and she's shooting at the big guys. Like, it's you both working together to fight the Covenant. And it's just, like, it clicked with me. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm fighting Covenant alongside Cortana during this segment. And you don't notice it because that bit of the level, you're fighting on the barrel of the gun she's using. It's just like a cool little moment. LNG, is your FOV down? Yeah, my field of view is 78. SA2 battle, goated. Oh shit, hang on, I gotta go up. Missed. You can count the number of defend your position segments in Combat Evolves campaign on one hand, and they rarely overstay their welcome, if ever. Here, let me scroll up. Yeah, if I remember right, actually, the reason Halo 2 has so many is MB bless the stream with this cool work in progress track. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. I think the term you're looking for is self-empowering equipment rather than strictly selfish. Yeah, that's good point. I don't mean selfish in like a negative term. I mean more in like it's selfish, you know, like it's not helping your team, it's helping you specifically, the user. But yeah, self-centered is maybe because selfish has like negative connotations, so I think you're right on that front. Yeah, I'll bless the stream with the track. Oh boy. Sheesh, I can't do any FOV under 100. I do... Damn it. I don't mind 78 FOV. At least for the big team battle modes and stuff. Are we going to do one more? No? Okay. I don't necessarily mind it, especially for Forge maps, because I think 100 FOV really kind of, it gives like Forge maps this like weird kind of uncanny, like this kind of looks like Play-Doh look. As well as after doing so many of these evolution videos, and here we'll hop on over to the Academy and I can show you really quick. Yeah, and then we'll play it. So there's something that Jamie Griesmer said, the guy who designed, you know, the combat loop of Halo 1, the sandbox, worked on sandbox in Halo 2 and stuff. Like, you know, guy knows his stuff. He said that he doesn't really like high fields of view in games. Like, he understands why it's there, but he doesn't really like it because he thinks it distorts a player's perception of how close somebody is to them, how tall something really is. As well as, because your perception is distorted, you don't use your melee as much because you think enemies are further away, so you're constantly shooting them. So you're not moving closer, you're just kind of staying at a distance and shooting, as well as it kind of like distorts and warps the scale of levels and stuff. Like, I'm thinking here, and how almost picture perfect this looks. It's like a frame, you know? You can see a little bit of the ceiling above you, the walls to the left, right, just enough of the floor. But then if I like go like this, see, I get this like like I look like I'm like in a tunnel, you know? Like going up to this computer screen, it's you kind of lose. Like, see, the war table looks really like weird and stretched. Where I think here, it's got a little bit more of that like video game feel to it, you know? Things don't look as distorted. They look a little bit neater. You're seeing just enough that you're taking in all the sights. You've got the feeling of the size of the environment and stuff without necessarily being able to see everything all around you and stuff. Like, look how close I am to him now. You know, he looks like normal size now. He doesn't look like a shrimpy little guy off in the distance because I've got the FOV cranked up too high. See, just suddenly the environment feels scaled better. Like, it doesn't feel as cheap. And I think if you crank up an FOV too high, you can kind of like ruin the look of a game. By the way, shout out to Durandal and Marathon. I'm making a Forerunner heavily inspired by him and softly hinted plausible connection for my Halo project. Interesting. That's fun. That's very fun. I think my guy, what I really want to get to is the obstacle course. Like, getting used to playing at low FOVs for the purpose of my videos has made me appreciate the scale of these environments more. Because when I'm playing at a low FOV, I have to actually kind of like, you know, look around a little bit more, and I'm like, wow, that really is tall. Me coming up here, me getting a little bit close, like, hey, what, you know, it's a good looking sticker, you know, like seeing the little details and stuff, and everything feels almost framed like a camera. You know, I've got that 78, 80 FOV, feels like a camera, like I'm like a photographer. I'm seeing the world through a camera. But then if I crank it up, I start to feel more like I'm in Quake. Like, see, I can see like the wall and stuff like that. It's just, it's a personal thing. Like, the presentation just... Don't get me wrong. For competitive gameplay, field of view options are great. All of that stuff for accessibility purposes, FOV options are goddamn important. You know, I've got a wife that suffers from motion sickness. So, like, this shit is like a godsend. It's awesome that she can play Halo because of the field of view options. But after, like, Jamie Griesmer's opinion on it... and then also getting used to playing at an FOV that is like around 80. I appreciate it. Like, I think Halo 3 kind of looks ugly at 120 FOV because so many important vistas, sight lines were not really designed to be viewed at 120 FOV with a centered crosshair, and they don't hit as hard when you're not playing at the intended FOV. Same with like Combat Evolved and stuff. Here's like an example. So like, this is melee range right here, but look how far away he is now. I'm in melee range, but standing right here, you wouldn't know that because the FOV pulls you back. So you feel like you're further away from the guy than you actually are. As well as this is like a more subjective thing. It totally depends on, like, you know, how you feel. In an FOV like this, if this grunt was like hopping around like, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna fuck you up, you know, what grunts usually do, like, I'm at a range where I can like see the glistening of his armor and stuff, like this melee range here, where at this, he's so far away from me now. He looks so small on the screen. I feel like I also get more of his body language. You know, I can like see the expression on his face and stuff. What is Jamie's opinion? Jamie's opinion, the guy from Bungie, is that high FOVs kind of, they don't look great artistically. They kind of make game levels look really bad because you're seeing too, like, which is the purpose of an FOV, but like you're distorting and warping and kind of like making levels look smaller than they actually are because of, you know, the side effects of a high FOV. But also you're making enemies look smaller and further away from you than they actually are, so you're not meleeing as much as you normally would, and you're firing your weapon more often than not. So he thinks that FOVs around 78 to 80, which they did for like Halo, you know, the Bungie Halo games, they are more healthy for that Halo combat loop because you're meleeing more often because you realize how actually close to the enemy you really are. Fun fact, grunts have a black market for human soap opera. I have heard that. That's a very funny detail. I feel like that's just something that takes getting used to, in my opinion. Getting a feel for melee range is just something that takes time. Definitely. But I also just find the low FOV makes the game look nicer. More detail on the screen. You know, the detail's less far away. It's more up in my face. Like the new Call of Duty games, like the Modern Warfare reboot and stuff, I also play that at 80 FOV. Like all the modern COD games, I have my FOV set to 80 because I'm like, you know, the new Call of Duty engine looks nice. I at least want to see it, you know. It's not for everyone, though, okay? Like, fields of view, motion sickness, that stuff isn't, like, subjective. If you're getting motion sick, crank that FOV up, you know? I'm just a weirdo, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm a weirdo who has weird tastes. So, it's my birthday. How's the stream, says Joshua. The stream's going great, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I was about to conclude it. But not without playing something that somebody wanted me to play out loud, which is here. Let me get hide that. Let me see if I can find it, Andrew. Did you DM it to me? What is that commando? That commando is one that you get. God, I forgot which battle pass it was. It's Reach themed. It's themed around the Halo Reach. Oh, the emote. Here, let's look at some Fortnite emotes. All Halo-related items in the Fortnite Battle Pass. Is this what I'm supposed to be watching? Okay, let's see. Is that an energy sword pickaxe? The Spartans look so weird. They look like stick figures. Is that a pickaxe? That's cool. I like that. That's less cool. Main chat. Okay, gotcha. That's cool. Right? Is it? That's super cool. Look at that. No, the new one from tonight. It plays the Halo theme. The Halo theme? Which version? What the fuck? Hang on. Look at this. Look at that. You're like riding a tiny little ghost. That's cool. God, Halo is so cool, man. That's cool. The Bloodblade? Okay. I keep just saying that's cool. That's cool. Wow, that's really cool. So there's a new one? Is this it? That's the one from Combat Evolved. What the hell? That's... Stop. Okay, stop. This is okay, this is like a lot to take in. Okay, so for the longest time, Microsoft has been using the Combat Evolved Anniversary version of the Halo Monk chant, which it's not it, man. It's not it, Chief, you know? They use either like the Halo 5 version, the Halo Infinite version, or the Combat Evolved Anniversary version of the Monk chant. They haven't used any of the originals. The Combat Evolved Monk chant is really freaking cool. Though I think Labor Larden told me that it was 7 guys. Marty O'Donnell and Salvatore, and then 5 of their friends that had like it was like a barber shop quartet, you know, like if I remember right, the way that he told me. And then what they did was, after recording this little mini choir to give it a weird alien-y feel, they have a synth layer that's under it. So that's why when you listen to the Halo 1 Monk chant, you can hear a subtle, like this subtle texture to it. And it's what gives it that otherworldly, echoey, reverby quality. For Combat Evolved Anniversary, they didn't know that. So it's just a bunch of guys in a choir going, ooh, ooh, you know, and it doesn't sound very good. For the longest time, they've never used that. They've always, when they talk about Halo, the iconic theme from Halo, it's always the Combat Evolved Anniversary one that doesn't sound good. It's the one that you hear on the MCC every time you boot it up. That's the Combat Evolved one, the original. It's not the Combat Evolved Anniversary one. They're using it. That's awesome. That's badass. I like that. So that's good. I like that a lot. I like the love that Combat Evolved got. Or the original version of the Monk chant, at least. Okay, let me hear Andrews. Yeah, it's in main chat. Okay, here we go. This is the UNATCO theme. That's cool. Holy shit. Can you imagine like a game demo
next-gen graphics, real-time lighting.
No. Games from the 90s wouldn't have. That's great. I like that a lot. I like that. That's cool. The UNATCO theme slaps. You know what that reminds me a lot of? Here, let me show you. I like that, like, 90s stuff is starting to 90s / early 2000s. Like, we're done with the pixel art stuff. And I'm happy about that. And now we've moved into deliberately low poly. Grab a controller and kick back. Yep. Okay. Look at this. I'm booting this up so you can see the intro. Like, this. I love Sonic Adventure 2. I love the Chow Garden. And I love the people that are making this game. So even if you don't have nostalgia for, like, Sonic Adventure 2, this game is supposed to feel like it was ripped out of the Dreamcast era, the PlayStation 1 / PlayStation 2 era, like early 2000s. And this game is like everything that I want. They're doing it so good. Isn't that awesome? This game feels ripped out of time, but it's this year. It's releasing this year. Look at that little guy. Doesn't this just warm your heart? And then wait till you see the main menu of it. Where's the controller? There it is. Oops. Look at that. You can barely hear the person say, "Welcome to Stargard." Just like it's a Dreamcast game. You hear that music? Like the crazy phonetic energy? It's just perfect. Got all these cute little low poly characters to choose from. And the whole point of the game is you got these little eggs, and the eggs hatch, and like these cute little guys come out. And you gotta take care of these cute little guys, but like the aesthetic is so goddamn on point, man. I'm so happy that the early 2000s, late 90s nostalgia is like a thing, and that it's seeping its way into indie games that are being made. Yeah, so there we go. That's why I want to show you. Yeah. So guys, just wanted to